Welcome to this update where I reveal the first month cost of my Cosy 6 heat pump. Now my property is a 2023 new build house. It's a 4-bedroom. The size is roughly 115 metres square, and that's over 2 floors. We have a couple of Tesla Powerwalls. It's the second generation ones, but the storage is 13.5 kilowatt hours, so times that by 2, it's 27 kilowatt hours. We do have a smart meter, and we also have 22 solar panels, although we are going to exclude those from any calculations here. You could probably make the argument that heat pump running costs are entirely free because they're covered by the solar panels, but we're not going to go there. We're going to take the approach that anything the solar panels generate, we can sell back to the grid, and just look at what the heat pump is using. So the heat pump, it was a Cosy 6. It's installed in early March 2025 by Octopus Energy Services. It's a air source heat pump which heats up the water. That water goes in to the hot water cylinder and passes through the radiators to warm up the house. The design temperature is 50 degrees, but the maximum temperature of the heat pump itself is 65 degrees. As you might expect, as per its name, the Cosy 6 is a 6 kilowatt heat pump, and that means 6 kilowatts of output, of heat output. The input, I've never seen that higher than just over 2 kilowatts at any given point in time. It's worth making that distinction. It doesn't use 6 kilowatts of power at any one point in time. So onto the tariff. We actually use Octopus Go, which is more the EV tariff rather than the heat pump tariff specifically, but that gives us off-peak import between the hours of 12:30 at night and 5:30 in the morning of just 8.5 pence. All other times is just a tiny bit higher than your typical price cap. Now that did change between March and April. It was 25.47 pence. It is now 27.85 pence. Now in terms of usage, for the time frame of the 6th of March to the 5th of April, which was 31 days, we used 286.77 kilowatts, and that gave us an output. So the amount of heat it gave us was 978.22 kilowatts. So with that setup, what did it cost me? Well, the grand total was £24.38, which was pretty good. I'm quite happy with that. Now, in order to get that sort of price for that sort of heat output, there are a couple of requirements. First of all, smart meter, that's important. That's needed to get a good tariff, as per the one discussed just now. There are other tariffs available. I'll cover another one later that's more heat pump orientated. But for me, this one works pretty well. And then also battery storage. I mentioned 2 Powerwalls. That's key here because it means that I am able to maintain use of just the off-peak rate. And with that off-peak rate being really cheap at just 8.5 pence, that keeps things super cheap. So let's look at the highest use day, and here it is. So we're looking at an input, so a electricity usage of 18.34 for the day. And remember I noted that with 2 Powerwalls, my capacity overall is 27 kilowatts, so it's easily covered by the batteries. No issues there getting the batteries to last at this time of year, which is how I'm able to keep the average price so low and always in the off-peak zones. This is the lowest, so 4.1 kilowatts for the day, with a COP of 3.84, creating an output of 15.76. So realistically here it's on in the morning. It came on around lunchtime for a very short moment, and in the late afternoon there, that's the hot water. So let's take a look at week 1. This was our very first week after the installation. It's a fairly strong start there. Week 2, we had a slightly higher input there and a slightly lower COP. Week 3 we managed to get the input down to 62.28. It was a combination of slightly higher temperatures and a slight change midweek to how we do the hot water. Instead of doing the hot water during the off-peak zone, we were actually using the batteries to do it midday. Well, not even midday, kind of late afternoon actually, 4 till 5:30, which made it more efficient because you're asking the heat pump when the weather is hot, after the sun's been shining on it, while the air temperature is high, while the humidity is low, at that point to do the hot water, which is making it more efficient. So I thought that was worth it. So you'll notice that in week 4 we actually achieved a higher COP. So it was a decent decision to change the time at which the hot water comes on, particularly since we tend to use hot water a lot more in the evening than the morning, unlike a lot of people. So I think that is a positive change that has really worked for us. But week 4 there, only just under 50 kilowatts used for that week. And week 5, which is excluding the Sunday, because I wanted the full 31 days, that's only 35, just over 35 kilowatt hours used so far. So overall, consumption not really that high actually. It's been pretty good. We've had warm weather as well, which has helped. I say warm weather certainly during the day. Any of these day graphs will show up as quite high around early afternoon time, but in the morning it's actually been quite cold where we've had so much sunshine and very little in the way of cloud cover. You do tend to find that the nights do get colder, so there's a little bit more heat requirement there, but it's done pretty well for us. So let's throw a couple of other scenarios at this. Let's say for people who don't have a battery, how much might it cost? Well, it actually makes a fairly sizable difference here. So if you had a smart meter but no battery, and let's say we assumed 50% peak and 50% off peak on the tariff that I was using, the Octopus Go, that would give us a cost of £52.12, which is a remarkable uplift. Things get worse, however, if you are on a price cap tariff. At that rate, it would cost you £77.51. Funnily enough, at that sort of cost, you're looking at almost exactly the same price as a gas boiler. Here, you obviously need the requirements of a gas supply, which most houses have these days. But the way I work this out is the heat output, which for us in that time frame was 978.22 kilowatts. Divide that by an efficiency factor. I've gone with 0.88, which is roughly the efficiency you might expect a gas boiler to be. Some very top end ones might be 90%, probably most closer to 85, but I thought 0.88 was the right sort of value to go with there, just as a ballpark figure. And then obviously the cost in pounds, so just under 7 pence per gas unit. So then we have our comparison table of all three of those. Obviously the heat pump on Octopus Go at 100% off peak, that's a massive saving there. If you were to get 50% off peak, that's a reasonable saving, but sort of halfway in between. And then the heat pump on the price cap and the gas boiler on the price cap are very similar, almost identical. What this does go to show is how important it is to have, firstly, a smart meter, but also how effective batteries can be at saving you money in relation to heat pumps, because it's all about getting the highest proportion of off-peak usage there. The higher that is, which in my case 100%, but if you've got a smaller battery, you're going to get something, but you're not going to get 100% with those sort of values unless you've got very low heat requirements. This in mind, Octopus created the Cosy tariff. It has 3 off-peak times, 3 hours in duration, and they're evenly spaced apart, so it works well for those with a small battery or no battery at all. The optimum approach is to set a schedule to operate the heat pump during those hours specifically, and not so much outside of those. The downside is the off-peak price is only 51% cheaper than the standard price in the off-peak. With Octopus Go, it's about 65% cheaper, so you still can't achieve the same prices with that tariff as what I have been with the Octopus Go. Having said that, if it's executed perfectly, in this particular scenario, it could be down to around about £38. More realistically, probably between 40 and 50. But that's not too bad. That's a decent saving on both the price cap and what you'd be paying for a gas boiler. So well worth looking into if you've got a small battery or none at all, and have a smart meter. If you are considering getting a heat pump from Octopus Energy, you can get £100 off using my referral code. It doesn't have to be a Cosy, it can be a Dakin model. I will stick this rather long number in the description. I hope you have enjoyed this video, the first month's running cost of my Cosy 6 heat pump. If you have, please like to show your support. Let me know in the comments which tariff you are using and why. How much is your heat pump costing you per month? Share your stories. Thank you very much for watching. See you soon.